The first quarter, they were walking the ball up. Walk. They were just passing it around. They were just going through the mud, shooting shots. Brick. And then the second quarter, Caitlin Clark said,
"Oh, it's time to go rogue.
Oh, it's time to do my own thing. Pull up, bang. Pull up, bang. Pull up, bang. Turn around, fade away, midi, bang."
The Indiana Fever walked into their home arena against the Phoenix Mercury with everything you'd want. Rookie of the Year frontrunner, the highest paid player in the league, a coach with championship pedigree, and somehow, impossibly, they managed to score 6 points in the first quarter. Not 16, not 60, 6. Through 9.5 minutes of game time, they had exactly 3 points. You're watching a WNBA team at home, fully healthy, facing a 5-12 Phoenix squad, and they're moving the ball around like they're running a practice drill. Walk, pass, brick. This wasn't just bad basketball. This was the kind of performance that makes you wonder if anyone had actually talked about what they were supposed to do. Stephanie White's system was on full display, and it was a complete disaster. The question everyone was asking wasn't whether they'd win, it was whether they'd embarrass themselves before halftime.
In the second quarter alone.
On pace for a 30-point game. I know you're on pace for that. I know you're on pace for a 30 and 10. I get it. But everybody needs to eat here. We're all inclusive here in Indiana. We need to make sure everybody eats. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit you down and we're going to let Kelsey Mitchell get her points in the third quarter. Yeah! Woohoo! And I felt myself saying, man, why does this third quarter seem so different than the second quarter? Oh, because we're playing inclusive basketball.
Caitlin Clark looked around at the chaos, looked at the scoreboard, and decided she was done waiting for permission. She stopped walking the ball up. She stopped running the sets. She stopped letting the system dictate what happened next. What came out was pure takeover mode. Pull up 3, bang. Another pull up 3, bang. Step back, bang. Turn around, fade away, bang. 4 straight possessions where she didn't run a single play call, didn't wait for screens, didn't defer to the flow. She just decided the game was changing right now. And it did. The Fever went from 6 points in a quarter to 35 points in the second quarter.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Caitlin Clark finished the game with 24 points, 9 assists with a plus 13. Caitlin Clark played a good game. Can't really say anything negative about Caitlin Clark's game today. When she did it Stephanie White's way, When she did it her way, oh, the offense was moving. What a coincidence. What a coinky dink. When you do it Caitlin Clark's way, the team don't look too bad. They actually look passable. But when you do it Stephanie White's way, ooh, Stephanie White, just stay out the way. Just do us all a favor, Stephanie, and just stay out of the way. Please. Thank you.
That's not a small jump. That's not just shots falling. That's the difference between having no offensive identity and having someone who knows exactly what needs to happen. Caitlin finished with 24 points and 9 assists. When she did it her way, the offense actually moved. When they tried Stephanie White's way, they looked like the worst team in the league. Here's what's important to understand. This wasn't selfish basketball. This wasn't hero ball or someone ignoring their teammates. Look at the assist column. 9 assists. She's still getting everyone involved. She's still making the right read. The difference is she's doing it at her pace, not Stephanie White's pace. She's attacking in transition instead of walking it up slowly. She's taking the shots when they're open instead of passing up good looks to run one more unnecessary pass. She's playing to win instead of trying to make sure everyone gets their touches. The offense in the second quarter had rhythm. It had pace. It had players moving without the ball, getting easy looks because the game was flowing instead of stalling. That's what elite point guards do when they're given freedom. They don't just get their numbers, they make everyone around them better. Caitlin was doing both simultaneously, and the results spoke for themselves. But here's where it gets frustrating. Going into the third quarter, Caitlin was on pace for a 30-point, 10-assist game. She was cooking. She had single-handedly turned a historic embarrassment into a comfortable lead. The offense was flowing, the energy was up, the crowd was into it, everything was working. So naturally, Stephanie White sat her down for...
But we won the game. Let's take a look. We got Caitlin Clark. Boom, pull up from 3. Splash. Then we do it again. Step back from 3. Splash. Bang. Then she had a heat check 3. The heat check 3 was disgustingly gross. she had a heat check 3 from like 40 feet out. Missed it, but damn. Then we have Dewana the Scammer Bonner and Sophie Cunningham get into it. Don't point at me. Don't point at my face, Sophie. Sophie, don't point at me, Sophie. I'm sensitive, Sophie. Don't point at my face. Don't point at my face. And Sophie's like, yeah, I'm pointing at you. Oh, you again. Point at you again. Point at you again. Point at you again. Even this
most of the third quarter, not because of foul trouble. Caitlin had plenty of fouls to give. She sat her down because Kelsey Mitchell needed to get her shots up. Because apparently, when your rookie point guard is having a takeover performance that's saving your entire season from a catastrophic loss to a bad Phoenix team, the most important thing is making sure the scoring is evenly distributed. This is the inclusive basketball philosophy in action. Everyone eats. Everyone gets their touches. Everyone feels valued. And it sounds great in press conferences. But basketball isn't a participation trophy sport. Look at the minutes played. Kelsey Mitchell played 3 more minutes than Caitlin Clark in a game where Caitlin was clearly the reason they were winning. Watch what happens to the offense in that third quarter when Caitlin's on the bench. It's back to the first quarter energy. Slow, methodical, everyone standing around. The lead stops growing. The momentum dies. They went right back to playing inclusive basketball instead of winning basketball. By the fourth quarter, what should have been a blowout had turned into something tense and chippy. The Mercury are 5-12. The Fever are at home with their full roster healthy. This should have been a 20-point victory, wire to wire, no drama. Instead, it's close enough in the fourth quarter that frustrations are boiling over.
If I had to take a guess, are they going to rescind it? Probably not. But I had to guess. That's what the technical was for. Maisha Allen then gets ejected. Alyssa Thomas trying to bulldoze her way in there. Maisha Allen, get out of my way. Yeah. Hey, Maisha Allen, she wasn't playing. Maisha Allen, not playing at all. Her and Alyssa Thomas got back and forth after that initial dust-up with Caitlin Clark and Dewana Bonner. So they're just letting that carry over. It's all right, Maisha Allen, we fuck with you, Maisha. This was the Caitlin Clark heat check I was talking about. Maybe tell a couple, look at that. Nah, we're getting crazy here. Look at this play. Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas going for the ball. Alyssa Thomas throws an elbow. Caitlin Clark gets called for a foul. Going for the ball. Alyssa Thomas throws an elbow. Caitlin Clark gets called for the foul. If you take a look at this angle, it looks...
Sophie Cunningham and Dijana Bonner get into it. Miesha Hins Allen and Alyssa Thomas are jawing at each other. Caitlin Clark's in the middle of it, getting a technical foul. The refs are reviewing plays for 10 minutes at a time. Miesha Hins Allen gets ejected. The game takes forever because the officials are stopping play every 90 seconds. And here's what that tells you: this game was way more competitive than it should have been. Why? Because the Fever spent the first quarter playing Stephanie White's system and scored 6 points. They spent the second quarter playing Caitlin's way and scored 35. Then they spent the third quarter trying to get Kelsey Mitchell her numbers, and the lead stopped growing. That's not a sign of a well-coached team executing a game plan. That's a sign of a team winning in spite of the game plan. Let's look at what actually happened statistically. Kelsey Mitchell shot 20 times and finished with 22 points on 40% shooting. Caitlin shot 17 times and had 24 points plus 9 assists. One of those stat lines represents efficient winning basketball. The other represents a player who needs volume to get her numbers. Yet Kelsey played more minutes.
Literally the only 2 players on the Phoenix Mercury. The only 2 players, you know what I mean? Take a look at the Indiana Fever. We got Kelsey Mitchell, 22 points, shooting 20 shots. Dribbling with her head down. Chuck. Dribble. Chuck. Chuck. You can't make this up. Shooting 40% for Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark, 8 for 17. 9 assists, only 3 turnovers. Again. Stephanie White. Put the handcuffs on her. put the handcuffs on her in the third and said, you got to sit down in the third. We got to make sure Money Mitch gets off. And that's why Kelsey Mitchell's played 3 more minutes than Caitlin Clark.
Aliyah Boston, the highest paid player in the entire WNBA, gave them 8 points and 9 rebounds against a 5-12 team. 8 points. That's your max contract player getting outplayed by a mediocre opponent. The bench contributed 10 points total. 10. This is the same bench that supposedly went toe-to-toe with the Nigerian national team in practice. They gave you 10 points in a game that was way closer than it should have been. The Fever won 86-77, but they won because Caitlin Clark refused to go along with the program and took over the game. Without that second quarter rebellion, this game has a very different ending. Here's the real problem. You cannot build a playoff team around hoping your rookie point guard recognizes when to ignore the coach and take over. That's not a strategy, that's a gamble. And eventually you're going to run into a team that's better than 5-12 Phoenix and you won't be able to dig out of a 6-point first quarter. The Fever are now above .500. They've got Caitlin Clark playing at an all-star level. They've got Kelsey Mitchell who can score in volume. The pieces are there. But pieces don't win games. Systems win games. And right now, the system that's winning games is the one where Caitlin ignores the actual system and does her own thing. Watch how other elite point guards are used in this league. They're given the freedom to control pace, to take big shots, to dominate the ball when the game is on the line. They're not being benched in the third quarter of close games so a shooting guard can get her touches. They're not being asked to walk the ball up and run sets that involve everyone when they're clearly hot. Caitlin's getting the superstar treatment in terms of attention and criticism, but she doesn't get the superstar calls on the court. She gets bumped, grabbed, and elbowed, and half the time she's the one who ends up in the referee's notebook. Despite all of it, she still won this game, but that shouldn't be how success works. The question for Fever fans is simple. Are you comfortable with your team's success depending on a rookie recognizing when to go rogue? Because that's where you're at right now. 6 points in the first quarter doing it Stephanie White's way. 35 in the second quarter doing it Caitlin's way. That's not a coincidence. That's not variance. That's a fundamental difference in offensive philosophy. The talent is there to win games consistently, but not with the current system. When Caitlin's allowed to play her game, this team looks dangerous. They score in bunches. They get out in transition. They create easy looks. But when they slow it down and try to make sure everyone gets their stats, they look like a lottery team. That's a coaching problem, not a talent problem. The Fever should be dominating every night. Instead, they're clawing their way to victories against bad teams because their point guard had to take matters into her own hands. Based on what we've seen so far this season, there's no indication that anything's going to change. The rotation is still questionable. The minutes distribution still doesn't make sense. The offense still stalls when they try to run structured sets. The question isn't whether Caitlin Clark can win games, it's whether Stephanie White will ever figure out how to win games using the talent she has. And my guess, she won't. But at least Caitlin Clark knows how to win when it matters.